What's up everyone, Blade here, and welcome back to another video of Persona 5 The Phantom X. Inside today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about LaFell Business Plan EX here, seeing that this has been a question I've been getting asked quite often recently, and I've been pushing it off for quite some time. So inside today's video, we're going to try and answer about what you should be getting with the Artisan upgrade ticket or the weapon upgrade, and then we're also going to talk about what persona you should be picking out of there as a rank 8 persona. If you guys are interested in this, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It really does help me out quite a lot. We're trying to hit 20K before April 18th, which is my birthday, and it is the week of anniversary for CN, KR, and TW P5X. So if you guys are able to help me hit 20K by then or before then, it would mean the world to me. And as always, I'm gonna try to keep you guys as informed as possible on anything and everything you need to know about P5X. But we're gonna get straight into it. Now, one of the first things that I gotta say, this is going to be a very opinionated video. I do use some logical reasonings behind it, of course, but I am a person who likes to use my nabbies and my supporters. So those are gonna be the characters that I really recommend first. So just a heads up for a lot of you guys, you can click off if you want to. DPSs are very, very hard to kind of gauge because it really does depend on what you value the most as a person. So with that out the way here, this whole thing was brought up to me by this one comment here, which thank you for commenting. I don't want to actually butcher your name, so I'm going to call you Ash here. And you said, hey, I know this is completely unrelated, but I was wondering if you can make a video on what to recommend or what weapon I should recommend to upgrade with the Artisan, what's called Artisan thing, which upgrades the weapon itself. Another thing that they wanted me to do was the LaFell Business Plan EX reward for the rank 8 persona. And I say, you know what? Heck, let's freaking do it because I've been pushing it off way too long. So once again, thank you for putting that down in the comment section. If any of you guys want to go ahead and get a video like this, be sure to leave a comment under this video as well. But in the LaFell Business Plan here, you get a lot of these pieces. These pieces are going to be called the Artisan Mod Order piece. And by getting 60 of them, much like how we have the little pieces for our dupes, you get 60 of them, you craft one of these. Well, one of these guys can take any weapon, both standard and limited, and upgrade it by 1. So as a good example here, we can take any weapon that we have, right? So I'm on Exciter's account currently, and if we look at On, for example, he has no dupes on his On standard weapon. Well, for the first upgrade, we do know that a weapon does require a weapon that's exactly like it. Since he doesn't have one, there's not one listed here. Well, if he had the Artisan Mod Order, he could take this ticket, automatically make it a 1, meaning, cool, he didn't need to use that actual weapon or get the copy of that weapon, giving him that free upgrade. The same can be done with a limited character here. So if I go ahead, and I don't know if he actually hasn't, I think he's been duping out all of his limiteds. Okay, yeah, let's take this for example with Yusuke, right? He has the 5-star weapon, but there's no upgrades on it as well. No upgrades at all for the awarenesses. Well, even though it's a limited weapon, I could still take the Artisan Mod Order, place it here, and upgrade this weapon even though it is a limited one. So it goes for both weapons universally, and it just acts as a free upgrade. So you want to utilize it very, very carefully. I'm going to put the disclaimer out again. This is a full-on bias type looking here. I prefer getting supporters and nabbies who have long-term use rather than DPSs. But with that out the way, let's go ahead and get to the characters that I think deserve it the most. Alright, so we are on LaFell.net, and one of the things I gotta say here, this place is really helpful for anyone who's really trying to know more about their characters and learn a lot more in general. But one of the first characters that I want to go over that should deserve, or I think gets this upgrade itself, is going to be Justine and Caroline. Now, not particularly for what the weapon fully does do, but mainly for the usage and the use of the character. Many of us do know this character is very flexible and currently on global one of the top characters, seeing that there's not many characters to contest them. Even once WinBats does come out, they still are a star player in that aspect. They're going to be a little bit lower, of course, on buffing and stuff when WinBats is out, but this does not make them any worse. If anything, they're still a top tier character. So if you already have their 5-star weapon, you're obviously getting an increase on their attack by 30%, the desire level by 10, and then getting critical damage up by 13% and damage dealt by 13%. If I was to take this up by at least 1, we're obviously getting some more into their main deal of their kit, meaning 3% into the desired level, we're getting 4% into the critical damage, and then we are getting a 4% into the damage dealt. If you are anyone who's using a buffer version of this character, it's automatically helping them. No matter what, you're getting a higher buff, you're getting way more ranges, hitting their desired level will even be easier for you, meaning your buffs and things will be used properly. Now, desired level is very hard for them, especially when you want to look at it, because it really does require them to have dupes and stuff or have their weapons upgraded. So by doing this here, you get closer to that desired level amount, meaning you're getting the higher buffs that you can activate. Same can be said if you're using them as a DPS, their desired level's higher. They're obviously using the facade, so they're helping out their party in general. So it's a little bit of a decent way to go for a 5-star weapon. I do think JNC is probably the most generic choice here, not the best choice, but definitely the most generic choice. If you don't want to make a mess up in upgrading their weapon, they would probably be a good one. But with that out the way here, let's go to our next character. Immediately going to our next character, this is going to be CHORD here, where I do feel like her weapon is insanely worth it. Not only are you able just to get at base the attack percentage, highlight gauge field, and even more so more attack once you use a highlight, but this weapon does do stacking. If you're able to upgrade it in any form or fashion, it will no matter what help you. Being at a 0, obviously you're getting the 30% attack, 40% fill of highlight gauge at the start of the battle, 15% co-star attack, and then an extra 5% that can actually go up to 3 stacks, meaning 15% after you use a highlight for the co-star's attack. So this is pretty darn cool. But if you go ahead and at least get it up 1 time, we obviously get a huge buff, being a 12% buff on our highlight gauge, and then we get a buff on our 2 attack percentages. Instead of it being 15%, we get a 4.5% increase on the co-star's attack, and instead of it being a 5% attack as base, we now get a 6.5% attack, which is a 1.5% increase. It may not sound like much, but for characters who are able to stack this effect, much like this weapon does, it can change a lot for you in your battle. I think this is probably one of the few characters that I think a lot of you guys do want to go for the weapon on. Even if it's just A1 or like R1 or something like this, it really will come in handy. If she's not the #1 character that I think a lot of you guys should invest into their weapon is, there is one more that can contest her. She's definitely going to be like the #2 character to upgrade the weapon. This is a weapon that I don't think is going to really hurt you too much at getting up, seeing it does not only just help out her, but it helps out your entire team, or mainly your DPSer. So I think it's a good decision here, but there is one more that is about to come out that I think a lot of you guys do want to, of course, invest in next. So let's go ahead and talk about her. The next character is going to be Windvast, or Tempest Rico here, and this character has not released just yet at the time of this video, but will be releasing on, I think, Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Now, the reason why this character is insanely good here is because not only are you getting just the basis of just the character, but it's increasing her kit exponentially by giving you crit damage. Whenever there is a weapon that helps out on crit damage, it is insanely worth the getting. Same goes with crit rate. If they help out with crit rate, crit damage, it's automatically going to be worth going for. This weapon automatically does that, so you're not only helping out her base kit, seeing that she does scale off of her crit damage here, but you're also increasing your allies' crit damage, you're increasing her crit damage, you're increasing your damage dealt of the skill as well. So I mean, all around, this 5-star is going to be worth it just at a 0. But when you increase it just by 1, you're able to see that we're increasing our crit damage at the bottom for our party members by a good 4%, which is already huge to say, less we have to really compensate for. And then of course, if we look at the little level 0 here, we have 3.3 of damage dealt. By getting it 1, it is 4.3. Once again, it may not sound like much, but for a character that is meant to be a huge crit damage buffer / crit rate buffer, this is insane. Her whole kit really does revolve around her crit damage amount, and seeing that she's also helping out your entire team with increasing damage dealt of a skill, it's going to be really good to actually go ahead and invest into. Anyone who needs any of these are really going to be very, very helpful for themselves, let's say you already got the R1 somehow in the double pull or something. Well, if you use the Artisan item to get it to R2, you're getting a major buff into your crit damage. Instead of it being 36.3%, it's going to be 47.2. I think this weapon is very much so worth it, especially if you're a person who's really trying to have a good character or crit damage buffing or just a good flexible character as well. So Winvast is another character I would very much so recommend. But let's go ahead and get to the next character that we're going to talk about today. Yo, Blade here. If you guys can drop a like and a subscribe on the video, it would mean the world to me. We're currently trying to hit the sub goal of 20k, so any help would mean a lot. And if you really want to help us out in the algorithm, be sure to leave a comment down below, especially if you want a video like this that's going over one of you guys' comments. But to then, enjoy the rest of the video. Throwing in a bit of a curveball here, Phoebe is another character that I do believe a lot of you guys are sleeping on, mainly because we do know she's a standard character. The only reason why I wouldn't recommend going for this 5-star weapon as an upgrade is mainly because of that standard character, at least title of course. But seeing that this character is in a 6-month jail right now, it's not really the worst thing to invest into. With the A0 or the R0 of the weapon, it increases not only your attack percentage, but based on each cocktail, an attack percentage, damage percentage, crit rate percentage at random, but it really does help you out on the multiple effects that she can end up doing. Just by getting this up by 1 here, we're not increasing the main attack, but we are increasing the cocktail's randomly gifted effects that is in this weapon. Instead of it being a 6% for attack, it goes to 7.8% with a 1.8% upgrade. Instead of it being a 5% for damage, it increases it to 6.5%, which is a 1.5% damage upgrade. And then instead of it being 4% crit rate, it goes up to a 5.2%, being a 1.2% upgrade. It may not sound like much, but this is for cocktails that you're going to end up spending. And if you're any person who's able to utilize Phoebe to her max capacity, you will be able to spend these cocktails easily. Plus, if you're also a guild boss nut here, this is going to be a Navi that lasts for quite a long time. So getting up the weapon that she has is honestly not a bad idea. You're able to, of course, get it up even further. And if you do have the R1 already, getting R2 immensely helps you out, seeing that you're overall just getting a lovely 9% attack increase. This is a huge thing for Navi, seeing that they share all of their stats to their party, so that small 9% may not seem like much to you at least in first views, but of course in the long run it's going to be way more worth it, seeing that she's able to share this 9% with the rest of her team. This is just one of the characters I do prefer, and I do think a lot of you guys should enjoy to use her, especially if you're going to go ahead and get up the weapon. But we're going to go on to the next character. Seaside Tomoko makes her way into this list as well, seeing that honestly, before she got the upgrade on her weapon, I would have normally asked for this weapon to be on this list. But after the weapon got a decent buff here, it did make it a little bit better. So scrolling on down here, we already know this character benefits off of a lot of healing, which the weapon does allow her to get more of this healing factor. But alongside of this here, by getting it to A1, she does increase the damage taken of an enemy, which is great. Her A1 is immensely helping out her healing, being instead of 18.5% to 24.0, being just 24% itself. And then of course it's helping out the damage taken on an enemy. Instead of it being an 8.5%, it is now a 11% itself. So just by getting this up, you're increasing your healing overall while also increasing the target's damage taken. I think this is a really good weapon to go ahead and invest into, especially if you're a person who wants to deal a little bit more damage. Plus, if you're one of the people who enjoys using a side character or as a horror enjoyer, I know a lot of you guys really invested into that character as well. This will benefit you guys to the max. She's not only helping you with just their heals, but she's also allowing the target to die even quicker, which is going to be worth the wait. If you're managing to get even higher with the R2 here, obviously you're getting up your base amount of healing, but that's the only thing that goes up, unlike the defense percent stat, which honestly would be great if this went up as well, but we can only dream. For now, we're going to go ahead and go into the next character here, and this is going to be the last character I recommend. Last character on the recommended list is going to be, of course, Futaba Sakura, and I do think that this character, without a doubt, is one of the few characters that you should probably put at the priority type listing for the top weapon you should upgrade. Reason being is because, once again, she is a Navi. As long as you are upgrading their base stats here, it is going to help out your party immensely. But she's not just a normal Navi here, she's able to also offensively help you by not only just giving her stats away and sharing them, but with her weapon being A1, she's able to increase the critical damage taken that a foe can have, as well as increasing your ally's attack. So as we can see, we stick with the 30% attack here, but we actually get an increase on our specific ally by 10%. Now, if we go ahead and get this up one, it goes up by 3%, which is going to be fairly helpful as long as we're hitting weakness damage, which we will always be hitting that. And if we look at the A0, we can see that the critical damage taken is 7.6%, but goes up to a nice 2% here, or 2.3% being 9.9%. I think this is really worth it, especially when you're a person who can also stack. She's able to stack this up to 2 times, so actually getting that critical damage taken up times 2 would be very helpful. If you're any person like me and just love to see big numbers, this weapon will allow you to, of course, do more of that as long as you're putting a critical damage taken debuff on the enemy itself. So I do think this is worth the invest in here, and especially one of the characters that I think a lot of you guys should think about when it does come down to the weapon itself. But with that out the way, let's talk about some of the personas that I think you guys should go ahead and invest into. Alright, so cutting back into the game here, the one thing I do have to say is with the personas they have you able to use here, there's only one really good choice. Well, I guess 2 if you want to argue about it, and that's going to be Vishnu as well as Shiva. If it was up to me, I would say hands down go for Vishnu, seeing that Vishnu is universally usable no matter how you dice it. They help out with, of course, defense decreases, they can help out on the winded side here. It's always going to be some sort of debuff that's going to be very nice for you guys to use, and with a character like this, you can use them very universally. Doesn't matter the team, as long as you have them, they are giving you a guaranteed defense down debuff, which is always going to be great. Plus, of course, with the passive does have, you're able to increase your crit rate off of this, which will be very helpful. When you have a character that's just universally usable like this, who can help out your crit rate and just help out with defense downs here, I think it's pretty much so a no-brainer to go for Vishnu. But on the off chance that you have Vishnu or you've duped them out already on some manner somehow, you would go for Shiva. Reason for Shiva is because not only is Shiva really good for one of the best AoE DPSs in the game right now, being Haru, but Shiva itself is able to take down defense as well, while also helping your attack percentage. As you can see, it's also able to help out the defense down, it's able to give you side crit up, and it's also able to at least increase your attack overall, making this character very much so worth it. The only downside with it is heavily skewed to the Psy end here. So for the majority, or for the last part of at least this part here, it is going to be more geared to your Psy related characters. But still, it will be very helpful no matter how you dice it, because you're getting that defense decrease, you're still getting some attack increase here, so it does make them pretty darn good to use. But you're really just going to want it for Psy related content. So overall, Vishnu is going to be the best persona to get out of here. Shiva would be the second best, and then if you just want something for the funnies, go for Yoshitsune afterwards. But with that all out the way here, hopefully you guys did find this video interesting and very helpful. If you did, please do leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and tune in for more next time. Also, do you guys like my banner? I recently ended up changing it on the channel. Let me know how y'all feel about it. But till then, peace out.